necessarily think that's the case, but maybe that sub duo here for G2 Esports as we're getting ready for the first map of the series. I believe we're going in towards this hard point. We're going to Karachi, and if you're the subs here, you're happy, right? This is a map that's built for you.
Yeah, a little bit better for G2, 2-5 on this map across the 2024 season. And for Vancouver, 7-10, so not their best look for the Surge. But we know what this team is capable of. We know what this team can rise to. And the back half of the year was completely different to the start. So you accept Vancouver to make some big waves here inside of their debut to Call of Duty Esports. I am really excited to see this one.
Yeah, their re-debut for G2 Esports here. First time we've seen them in a hot second, we'll say for sure. And they want to have a good debut with this brand new look roster. Right now, though, as we move over towards the first hard point of the game, G2 are in command and control. Estrel currently with an AR in his hand, clearly flexing for the lineup to try and garner some kill control. Now DC up top, looking for something, and neither really able to find any value whatsoever, but this is okay. You've got the backstop of the rotation. DC now starting to heat up from the middle of the map. Nice distraction as Linz is going to pick up two. These are the rotational battles you needed to win if you're G2.
And for G2, if Diamondcon can play in those power positions like we just saw, you know he is a straight shooter. He is not going to miss on those players rotating to the point. So G2 with a good lead after P1, set up in towards P2. The contest is going to be out, and 0-4 finds the break. And, you know, Vancouver now looking to make at least some scattered plays here against G2, but will it pay off for 0-4 trying to stay alive? No, G2, they're going to battle back off the spawn with a quick 3 down.
Yeah, big kills coming through once again from G2. I was concerned there for a second that 0-4 being in the position that he was would meant that G2 couldn't manage to get over the wall, but it's not going to happen. Big kill from Cute towards bottom ticket side. 0-4 also following up with another one as well. They're hungry for this back 15 seconds. They know that Vancouver have got these guys stuck in that sticky spawn situation. The kills are also starting to come through as well. Huke is heating up here. Will get shut down by accuracy. If you're 0-4, you're just being a nuisance. You're stealing, what, about 10 to 15 seconds away from G2 that they otherwise would have had. And as I said, Colin, they had those sticky spawns towards New. They needed to push that.
Yeah, this is going to be a good set of time off the initial 4P3. Lots of map to cover if you're G2, and you still have a player to worry about inside of red. Just punishing you from behind is Hook, just in behind the play here for G2, and you can see these players trying to turn around to deal with this when already Vancouver have closed this lead.
Yeah, this is a big moment here for Vancouver Surge. You've already lost control of Scrap, though. Estrel, big guy towards the back line. The shots are not as nice as you'd like, and Brezzy will win the fight in the end. So Brezzy now a constant presence. Linz with this jump up here. A position that maybe they won't check. Yet Brezzy will, but Linz takes out his former teammate with ease, and the second one as well on towards Huke. Big kills being made now from G2 as they break for this time. Now they're looking for the back 20.
Yeah, Linz broke that single-handedly and holds it as well to keep G2 in this lead. Now chasing some of these shadows around the map. Linz is looking for this cruise missile potentially. He was on 3 in a row. Hook is going to stop it there. So looking at about a 20-point lead heading into this P4 hardpoint on Karachi that not a lot of teams get time on. So Vancouver can continue to keep this one scrappy. You just need to get that presence in towards top third. You're just dealing with that setup from Diamondcon. But as Diamondcon falls and you catch that flank, you break the hill, and now you can look for time.
Yeah, this is big from Vancouver Surge here. An opportunity here to try and get control. Estrel still hasn't been found out, though. He's been chilling up top. Surely someone will come to deal with him sooner rather than later. Yeah, 0-4 peeks up top and takes Estrel down. So that's a big gunfight to take. But you haven't quite dealt with the plague that is G2. They're still over here. They're still infesting this hard point. DC picking up a couple of kills towards the middle of the map as well. Gonna make things awkward. Once again, the route being taken by Linz. This is so darn frustrating if you're the Vancouver Surge. You cannot get rid of these players, and Linz finds even more. He is a kill machine at the moment for G2.
Yeah, more than that, it's just a double kill machine. He can't be traded, it seems. Finally falls, but it's enough to keep this lead for G2 yet again. One thing to note is accuracy 13 and 9. This is a great look from the Iceman of G2, and if he can keep on this performance, Vancouver will struggle. So you look at trying to shut down these ARs. You look to get in the backline. 0-4 wants to make a play over towards P5. He's going to get in behind, finds the break onto the point, but can he stay alive? Of course he can. It's 0-4.
Yeah, one more player to deal with in the backline, though. Estrel's just playing quiet. Vancouver Surge on the hunt. It's like prop hunt. You're looking for him. Estrel's going to find that one. He's just pulling attention potential away. Estriel for 2 big kills towards the back line. Now weaken things on the defensive side as well. Abuser down for the count. Brezzy also removed swiftly from the kill. Estriel does it all for G2 there.
And because of that, Vancouver get absolutely no time in that break. Even if G2 are soaking up a little bit here and a little bit there, their lead is by 30. They are okay with this. Heading into the second set of rotations, they're going to be looking for this presence in this early setup. Accuracy with another win to look to claim top third, a position that Vancouver could not take away from G2 back at the start of this game. Vancouver are struggling.
Yeah, they're fighting for it though. Accuracy up top. Big kill onto Abuser. Brezzy also taken down around Chicken Coop here. Once again, G2 are winning all their rotational battles. How does this keep on happening? A 30-point advantage right now for G2. They continue to win hill after hill, control after control. And Vancouver Surge are sent reeling. At the very least, they do take accuracy out of that power position. But right now, G2 in full map control. Estriel looking for that power position up top will get shut down. Vancouver, a chance now to break towards this back 25 seconds. You need to get these kills and get through towards the other side of the map. But DC is playing his life so well. Inside O will finally get shut down. But even that is not good enough as the kill feed will light up white just out of Brezzy inside. He gets shut down. This is disastrous here for the Vancouver Surge.
20 and 10 from Lamar. Accuracy having an absolute banger map on Karachi right now. 141 to 87, near double the points of G2 as this one's going to open up. Diamond Con's going to be watching the cross from up top. They have the full setup here. Hook's looking to break it. He's going to slip in behind. And the kills come through as well from Abuser. So Hook just mosey his way on in, looking for this hill. He needs to hop this time. He needs to keep G2 away.
Yep, you got to play your life here. Shoots, no way! Almost hits the melee for the kill against Diamond Con, but it's not to be. G2 now fighting this from that spawn side. Vancouver going individually at this hard point. Brezzy gets shut down, and this is a back 30 seconds you can't really afford to give away. You have to hit this over and over again. But the routes that G2 are taking here against you, Estriel wraps around for the second kill against Abuser now, and perhaps here an opening towards the rotation as well. Vancouver will read it. Estriel should be down for the count, but nonetheless, Colin, that is a great hard point for G2 to take full control of.
It's almost a 100-point game. If not for the rotation here, Vancouver would be on their heels. And you have the setup, but you need to get those power positions, and nobody's going to be fighting for top third here from Vancouver. So G2 will be able to get that pressure from the front line. Hook's going to be watching the flank. He's going to take down Linz as well. It's 2 for Vancouver to open up this hill. Accuracy still alive over towards top third. He is going to be somebody you have to be worried about with the way he's playing.
Yeah, he's just going to constantly push pot shots into the players in the Vancouver Surge as they look to approach this hard point. Accuracy taken down, though. Big kill to make if you're the Vancouver Surge. Brezzy towards the backline now, trying to stop this wrap happening from G2. He very quickly gets removed from that power position. Now DC able to follow up with another one. Abuser left alive inside. He's going to get shut down as DC picks up 3. Now off the spawn as well. The AR's really heating up here. Vancouver Surge are read like a book. Fortunately enough, 0-4 will follow up with a double, and Vancouver Surge will be back in for a valuable 15 seconds. But if you're Hugh here towards this rotation, you have to find some value.
It's scrappy, but you get majority of that time there for Vancouver. That's going to be some sweat wiped off of your head for the rotation. What a shot there from Accuracy. You're going to get the initial time. Again, you have Accuracy set up over towards Bridge, so it's going to be difficult to get towards top third, but looking to break this one is Brezzy. Can he hop up and find this kill? 4 is going to do the damage. Brezzy jumps up, and Accuracy is down. Now time for Vancouver to push the issue.
Here we go. Got to win these fights if you're Vancouver. Got one player in behind enemy lines as well if you're Hugh. Now he's going to win 1. Brezzy wins 1 through the front of the point. Estriel now isolated. Nice patience there from Hugh for that second kill. That is 4 down. And if you're Vancouver Surge, you're fighting this one from the front.
Yeah, you have a great setup right now for Vancouver, because not only this, you get the time, and you can put G2 in a spawn trap here if you continue to find the kills. But Linz again breaking back in. 0-4's up top. He's going to get 3. And it's a back and forth, a bloodbath between these two. Vancouver on top for what is a little bit more time, but it secures them the spawns for P5, and they will be able to set up for this hill again.
Cannot be understated how important that hard point was for the Vancouver Surge. It keeps him in the conversation for the game. A game in which G2, for the fact the first set really had taken commanding control. The ARs have slowed down somewhat as well. Worth saying, Accuracy, he was what, 20 and 12, I think at one point, is now just 25 and 20. Vancouver Surge have found a way to respond to them. But now they need to hold. They need to hold scrap. They need to win some of these fights. Streak being
Diamondback
brought
gets a
down
team
from
kill.
DC. And he TKs Linz as well. Fortunately enough, Estriel follows up with another one. 04 proved out of position here. Will at least looking for positioning up top. Hotel. And he has help from his teammate here. 04 able to double up once again. And off the back of a cruise missile utilization from G2, Vancouver still hold.
04 is just going. He's just flying at him. No worries in the world. He gets 3 kills again after the cruise missile from G2, burning that streak and limiting across the past 3 hard points. G2 have only gotten 10 seconds. They're going to get the scrap time here, but Vancouver are fully back in the series, only down for about 40 points. You get a good setup here at P1, Brody. They are still in this.
Still in the conversation here. Not something I thought I would say at the end of the first set where G2 were in commanding control. But as I said, G2 have slowed down significantly. Vancouver Surge now on the hunt. The SMGs are out on the prowl. Huke looking for the kills. 04 sitting inside, soaking up time for the roster. There we go. Players now starting to encroach from all angles. Huke and 04 though, they're winning the gunfights. Huke's on the hunt for these kills. He gets turned on by Linz. 04 now back up towards 150 HP. Gets stunned up by the stun. Linz now looking for some more kills. He's just holding time for the rest of G2 to make their way. But Vancouver Surge now starting to win all these times. Starting to win. So the hardpoint control here are going to take the lead in the game. Unless Accuracy can do something, he's going to get shut down in the trade. And Vancouver Surge will somehow, some way take the lead in this game.
I mean, it's been a while since we've seen them at least in contention for the lead, but that is 4 hills in a row where G2 are limited to just about 10 seconds in total. Vancouver are electric right now as they're heating up. Rezzy's gonna find 2. Linz on the cross. Hook trades it out. It's a 1v1 for Hook, but Accuracy's nade well placed keeps G2 in this hard point, but the contention's out.
Here we go. Accuracy, a lot to do. Inside, tagged up, has to go for the melee against Abuser in the back storage room. He's going to get shut down. Abuser for 2. Trade good. Brezzy there to pick up where his teammate left off. Vancouver Surge, they're in.
And, you can't win here if you're Vancouver, or you can win just barely if you're Vancouver. You can't win if you're G2 at this point, but you have to contest it. At some point, they're going for the full wrap around. See if they can flip the map, but somebody's got to get to the hard point.
Yeah, you can't afford to give this time away. You're not winning the fights. DC from red side is going to apply the pressure. You have to hit this. You've got to hit it now. And you got to get to there. Looking towards all the players, DC finds the way in for the contest. You just got to contest down to 6 seconds. There we go. No longer can Vancouver Surge win it on this hard point, but unfortunately for them, the rotation is in Surge's favor. You've got 6 seconds to fly across the map if you're a G2, and you get stuck by a Semtex from 04. That's going to be GG's here in map number 1. Surge managed to pull back a hard point where G2 felt like they were in control for the majority of it.
160 to 87, Brody. The lead for G2 that you thought it was a sure win for them on Karachi, but look at the smiles of Vancouver. They know what they just did, and they just broke down G2 Esports. That is going to be a furious one for sure for this newly formed roster where you thought that you were lights out. Well, maybe not just yet. And Vancouver, man, what a way to pull this one back. I mean, just constant rotations from this team. So they were losing those fights towards those power positions in the first set of rotations, but in the second time, you started to see them fight for that and then push for some more map control. You think over towards the P3 rotation that you had in Hook, still in towards red, finding constant kills off of spawn, making sure that G2 were so far away from the hill and that the rest of the team could just hop in and get that time. And I mean, as soon as you took Accuracy away from those top 3rd positions and you weren't allowing them to put pressure on those hills from above, you started to see G2 struggle in breaking those hard points. Not only that, but every single time we hopped on towards the point of view of 04 in a critical moment, he got what looked like a 3-piece every single time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it was kind of 2 things for me, right? And we mentioned it at the start of the game. Accuracy had a hell of a start to the game, by the way. I think it was in the middle of the game, right, when they were up by about 80 points or so. He was 20-12 was the scoreline that I vividly remember him being on. And I think just, you know, as we got into the second half of the game, he started to slow down. I think just on the whole, G2, I think their ARs just really started to slow down, weren't getting the map control that they were previously. And then on the flip side of that conversation, you mentioned it, right? That the constant 2 pieces, the constant 3 pieces coming out from 0-4, the subs for the Vancouver Surge just turned their hell up. They started running routes and making those ARs feel uncomfortable. That is a game that you don't lose if you're a G2. It has to be said that the way in which they were commanding control of the map, they were commanding control of hill after hill in the first set was just not there. And I think nothing encapsulates it more than when DC brings a streak down for scrap control in the second set. It hits a TK and you do get nothing off the back of it because you get pieced up there right afterwards from the Vancouver Surge. It's just a total contrast to what we saw in the first set, right, where Estrel made that big play carrying Vancouver Surge to the back of the hill. I don't know, it just felt like G2 had it and they let it slip.
Yeah, they just lost the plot on the game. It seems like they just didn't know what to do for the objective, Brody. At some point, all those power positions that you saw in the first set of rotations just did not exist. And, you know, whether that was Vancouver fighting for those positions on the map and towards the back half of the game, or, you know, maybe G2 not putting as much focus on them, it started to become more of an individual effort towards a couple of those hills at the ends. And I think Vancouver, they just took advantage of that. Even in the last moments there, when you saw G2 go for the full wrap into P2 rather than just hitting the hill and making sure that you have that time for it to get towards P3. It was just very scattered and all over the place from G2 heading into the search and destroy. I hope they can wipe that from their memory. And like, it didn't even happen. You just gotta forget about it and move on.
Yep, early questions about the respawn of this new G2 Esports roster, right? It certainly wasn't great when they were Rocker. Again, albeit it's basically a brand new team, so the asterisk kind of has to be added to that conversation, but still, not great, it would seem, in the hardpoint. We see moments where they look like they're promising, and then it all falls apart. The ice seems to be on the side of the Vancouver Surge here. I've heard it is colder up north, to be fair, in Vancouver, so maybe that will be why.
You'd be surprised.
Regardless. Yeah, I mean, you would know. You've probably been in Vancouver a couple of times, right?
I was there last week. It's very, very warm.
Well, it is summer, to be fair, Colin. I've been to Toronto in the middle of summer twice now
really
in consecutive years. And you were telling me it wasn't hot, and it was sweaty as hell. I've never been sweatier in my life, and I've gone to the gym every so often.
It's different. It's humid. It's different. Yeah. It's a lot to deal with for sure. But in Vancouver, it's not the same. I mean, it's hot year round. Maybe you get a little bit of snow sometimes, but the only ice we see is in this match today versus G2. And I think one thing heading into the search and destroy, as well as for G2, it gets more difficult because you've had limited time to throw together plays and strats for this team, for this game mode, where Vancouver into Champs and Major 4, their search and destroy was unreal. I mean, 0-4 is literally a walking first blood machine, like what you'd kind of mentioned for Abizi. And then Hook, when you listen to the comms from them and you know that Hook is right behind him, making all the calls, being that IGL and always communicating the position of your opponents, this Vancouver team in search is a well-oiled machine, and they have all the talent and all the tools to just continue to lay down the pressure on this G2 roster.
Yeah, well, it should be said that Vancouver Surge, of course, since losing Illy at the start of the season, their search and destroy has gone downhill somewhat, right? I think they've kind of had to try and retrieve that. And maybe the IGL of Q-Kit will make all the difference. Not off the start. What a beamer from Estrel to kick off this search and destroy. Good trade from 0-4. Though. Things will calm down somewhat here. 3 versus 3. The Vancouver Surge now just trying to find a way out. 0-4's done exactly that.
Yeah, 3-on-3. Diamondcon gonna put down some warning shots there. 0-4's gonna be watching the crossing towards the site, so maybe he can find a kill, maybe some damage to lead into a kill, but he's just feeding information to the rest of the team. Eventually, this bomb's gonna go. Whether or not Vancouver can test this or play the retake, I think that's up to 0-4 and what he can get done onto this bomb carry. No damage there, so I'm sure they're going to wait. The nade. Linz is there, slides in for 0-4. The bomb does not get planted.
Yep. UD will save his life. Diamondcon also taken out of the play. Brezzy will get shut down by Accuracy. Accuracy, of course, when that kill will reveal his position. Now 0-4's going to shoot through the fence. You get no AA there. And Accuracy gets the better of 0-4. A 1 versus 3 for the Iceman. Shots on towards Abuser. Oh, it's aspirational, and Abuser's going to win that all day long. Yeah, he's shrugging his shoulders like, why the hell is Accuracy taking that fight against me?
Bold, brash, I love it, but wow. And the fact that he actually almost gets the kill. It's a beautiful read from Accuracy, but a tough fight to take with not a lot of time to get to that bomb and get the plant. You only had limited options there, Brody, but Accuracy he makes it look good. Into the 1v3, brings it down to a 1v1. And Vancouver kick things off with a round win on their defensive side. And it comes down to 0-4 making that play onto the bomb planter. You throw that nade down, no trophies in round 1. So the follow-up there to stop that bomb plant really sends G2 in shambles.
Oh, great start from the Vancouver Surge. Stopping 1 versus 3 from accuracy. They're going to stop them at the start of this round as well. G2 now extremely one-dimensional here on the defense. Everything is over by B. It's good enough, though, to take Brezzy out of the play. That's also the bomb carrier, so that's going to make things extremely difficult for the Vancouver Surge.
They're going to lay down the pressure here, too. I like this from Linz and Estriel. They're looking to flip the map. You know, Abusa's all the way in the back, and would have been a great kill to get. Maybe Estriel can trade it out once again, but Abusa is just finessing his life right now. And the read was there, although not the kill. 2v2 with 44 seconds. Bomb's going to get picked up, and DiamondCon just needs to live.
Yeah, this is the thing. You kind of isolate out DiamondCon right here. That play from Abuser is everything, but now we go down to 1 versus 1. Good trade from Estriel.
For the
of course,
ace.
you know where he is, so you should be looking for it here. 0-4 looking to, as you said, stop the ace, and he's searching for the kill.
Yeah. He has to worry about this objective. He knows exactly where Estriel's going to be coming from, so he can plant it for himself and play for the post plant and really work some magic here. We know 0-4 is one of the most iciest players that we've seen in Search and Destroy. He's been so good to watch here on Vancouver, but can he do it again?
Makes me feel way back. Oh, this is cheeky. This is so cheeky. This is not okay from 0-4. It's a spot. Estriel checks it. No long-range shots. Not good for Estriel. 0-4 wins that all day long.
Look at Abuser. He's like, why does he check that? He just knows. Estriel with the reads, but again, Vancouver with the round win. 0-4 pulling out all those late year strats. I mean, this is the last tournament of the year, Brody, so why not throw it out there? And that post-plant spot from 0-4, you know he's been sitting on that for a while. That was a great round to see. And even from G2 to make that one competitive, I like the way they flipped the map there. Estriel trades out almost every single fight until the end, making it a 1v1. And he is playing fantastic for the rest of this team. Linz and DiamondCon still on a donut. Looking at them to turn it around.
Well, it's still early doors in this search and destroy. G2 want to get aggressive. It's a good way to get it done. Linz, of course, was running routes back in map number 1. Door was closed. Is the read good from Brezzy? He's going to check it, but won't get good timing. Linz slams his former teammate. Elsewhere, though, you'll lose that advantage just as quickly as you grab it. Accuracy will bring it down to a 2 versus 2, though. Linz, still the biggest problem for the Vancouver Surge. It's going to enable Accuracy to pick up that bomb and get the hell out of dodge.
Linz is in trouble, 14 HP, and they know exactly where he is. 0-4 is hunting for the kill, and Linz has no idea what is coming his way. 1 versus 2 for Abusa, or sorry, for Accuracy, as he's going to put that bomb down and look to get away in time. They've spotted him, and now they know exactly what options Accuracy has. They can hop this bomb and just watch over their teammate.
Yep, diffuser's coming through. There's no stopping this now. Shots from Accuracy, good on towards Abuser, but 0-4 gets the defuse through. And yeah, I think as soon as Accuracy gets stuck on the door, he has nowhere else to go but either for the rechow, which you can just pre-aim, or the wraparound, in which he does not have enough time to make. So good comm from 0-4 to just hop straight on the bomb. And you can see Abuser, I mean, they are just bewildered at the moment by what G2 are throwing at them. They're taking this in their stride.
Look, these have been 3 really close rounds, I will say, when it comes down to the clutch. Vancouver are just a little bit better, and they're really giving some taste of your own medicine to the Iceman right now. But for Linz to make a play like that and the rest of the team to fall, you really need to stay alive and support him a little bit better for making those bold plays, and you can't be giving up those lives while your teammate is in the enemy spawn. So Linz again is going to make a play up towards B Street and hopefully catch a first blood onto Abusa, but Hook's going to get that first blood. It's Accuracy to go down, traded immediately by DiamondCon.
Oh, these early round trades, haven't exactly determined how these rounds have gone. 0-4 might do exactly that. Kill, and he somehow gets away. How on earth has that happened? Estriel is on the hunt, but 0-4 plays his life perfectly. 4 in a row now for 0-4. Looking to make it 5. Estriel, the next kill on the kit list, and he'll find it. 0-4 just 1 away from the cruise missile. This will be a damning indictment of G2 Esports. And now it's DC. Next up for a 1 versus 3. Shots onwards Abuser. Good enough. Will not find the second. Vancouver Surge are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, just 4 unanswered rounds by them. And that one is probably the most comfortable that we've seen. Just getting that first blood, playing off of it. 0-4 with that kill into his life. Not only that, showing that, the Renetti still is the best gun in the game for those up-close engagements. Everything is going right for Vancouver right now for the plays that they are making. And G2, you can see them trying to make some adjustments. They're really working towards getting aggressive and looking for those openings and forcing those engagements. But when you see Linz look to make those plays, he loses a teammate, and that slows them down. You need to see that support for Linz to make these pop-off moments because he is just trapped sometimes.
Now, well, the good news is that that final kill did not go the way of 0-4, so still 1 kill away from a cruise missile, although it has to be said, if they do earn the cruise, it will be damaging. Now looking for the first bloods, though. Linz will find 0-4. That's cruise missile down for the count. Linz also able to double up off the back of a trade, so numbers now for G2 Esports. It's an aggressive challenge from Linz, who will suffer for it. Does not matter. Brezzy now left up 1 versus 2. G2's got the bomb.
Yeah, Vancouver looking for yet another clutch, this time Brezzy. Bomb looking to go down. Brezzy's making the full rotation, and accuracy's not going to spot this sitting in elevators. They're going to cross. Brezzy's going to make it a 1v1. Accuracy out! And Brezzy!
Oh, no.
Oh, another clutch for Vancouver. 5-0 in the search.
And every single round, every single clutch that goes the way of the Vancouver Surge gives them just even more confidence than they've had previously. G2 Esports are being shut out of this search to destroy, and you can see it on their faces right now. They might well be cool, calm, and collected, but I wonder how close they are to losing that call. 5-0 down in the search and destroy. And it is just, I mean, you're 4-0 down in the S&D, right? I mean, you start the round by taking that cruise missile away. You, get yourself in a 2 versus 1. To lose that is basically the end of the world for G2. You don't have to full sail this search and destroy.
Yeah, I mean, 3 1v1s, a 1v2, and what is as close to a ninja defuse as you can get without it actually being a ninja defuse. Book opens up the round. A team kill from 0-4, but he's going to follow up with a second one, so it's still numbers for Vancouver. So 0-4 has this bomb. Brezzy's going to join him as they're looking towards A. Diamondcon pinching things out. Can he get the damage? No, but accuracy's right above them.
Yeah, accuracy's out of the call here. He will pick up that first blood. Good trade from Diamondcon. Now a 1 versus 1 to stave off a clean 6-0. And Abuser is just going to wait for information. There it is. Shots on towards DC. DC runs up top, and Abuser almost picks his head off. Diamondcon down all the way to 18 HP. Going to have to sit the reset here. At the very least, does have bomb in his hands. That perfectly cooked nade from Abuser, though, will stop it once again. And now Abuser going to take the long road to this bomb.
It's just extra information for Abuser to make this full rotation, and Diamondcon does not know what to do with the bomb being down. He's going to hit the full wrap around the world.
I mean, DC can play this one as long as he likes, to be fair. It is ultimately Abuser that has to get that bomb down or pick up the kill. It's going to be the former. Rock planted. And what does the post plant look like for Abuser? Has he made the right call? COD timing can be your friend. It could also be your worst enemy. DC might get it in his favor here. Here comes the challenge. Abuser's not looking in his direction, but he is sat in a corner. It's where the DC checks it. Looks to the left. DC should have the shots. Abuser fires back. And finally, a round for G2 at the 11th hour.
Not a lot of places to go for Abuser. Picks a corner, sticks to it, but Diamondcon, the hide and seek, goes his way, and plenty of time for that defuse. It got a little bit close. Diamondcon was knocked down to 18 HP. From those shots on top heli. He gets got by the nade as well. Abuser had the information, he had the time, and he was gifted that plant as well. But finally, we see G2 Esports on the board, and now for this to be a full sail moment for G2 against Vancouver. See if we can see 2 breakdowns in a row. It's really up to some of these opening engagements from this team, because G2, you can see them fighting for the space on the map. They just have no success behind those moments. Everything that comes down to G2 looking to win a round, Brody, has been in those clutch moments, which has not gone their way. So I want to see them play a little bit slower, see if they can work some of this map by way of kills, and hopefully those contact plays can pay off like we saw back in the hardpoint.
All right, well, G2 either way back into the search and destroy. Right now, we are taking a while to get into this final round, so I don't know if we've got any technical issues to be contending with here into this final round. It looks like that is the case, so we get a chance to talk about kind of what's happened so far in this search and destroy, and it has so far, I think, just all the way through, been the Vancouver Surge, just taking command and control. They're so happy, and I think, the reactions as it currently stands as well, I think it's kind of showing right now that they are kind of bewildered by what has been thrown at them from G2. They've not been expecting half the looks that they've been given. I think a lot of that is just like, yeah, we're looking at basic level Call of Duty. Maybe kind of, I guess, part of having a roster that you've basically just put together not that long ago. And they're dealing with it very well.
Yeah, it seems like G2 do not have the reps underneath them for this game mode, and maybe the play calls or the strategy and maybe even trust around their team to kind of work together on a map like Highrise, watch over each other and make those cohesive plays. And it's troubling them at times where when you look at Seattle, they're smiling, they're having fun, and they're just throwing themselves at these players. It's a great look for Vancouver, and it's a great look for some of them who are looking to kind of make those, I guess, adjustments after champs where those search and destroys weren't going your way, Brody, where they didn't look the best.
Yeah.
Now for Vancouver, I mean, they're on top of the world.
Yeah, I think right now as well, I want to say that G2 do feel relatively one note in their search and destroy gameplay. I think, you know, something we were talking about in regards to the hardpoint writers when they were kind of relying on their ARs to get map control and kind of creating space for the subs to run routes. And that feels like very much the same thing they're trying to do here in the search and destroy. You can see that in the rounds where Lin has been successful, getting it behind enemy lines, being a proper nuisance. And I think sometimes we're seeing Lin's somewhat overheat, I want to say, in doing so, right? Getting a kill and then and then not actually playing his life afterwards, getting kind of immediately traded by the Vancouver Surge, you know, whichever player it is. Linz is being shut down on these routes, and there's been moments where Linz has been successful. I think it was with the round number 4 or 5, I want to say, where Linz kind of got in behind enemy lines. It was the round where Brezzy basically took the double to win the round back in their favor, but still, you know, you're seeing these routes being taken by Linz. I think that's the only positive we can talk about really for G2 at the moment on the offense, is they're trying to rely on these subs to create space on the map, and that's not really working out for them.
No, the subs need some help. You need those ARs to push up a little bit, you know, push that line of scrimmage for the team and really assist each other in taking that space rather than making it a one-man show, really than trusting those superstars to make those pop-off moments. It's almost similar to Minnesota Rockers search and destroy from when we would see before, or even in their respawns at times. It seemed like there was a lot of pressure on Linz to be that playmaker, but Linz, now that he has Astrial and with Diamond Cut on this roster, I want to see these players from LAG really assist at the playmaking potential that Linz has, follow him up, work together, trade each other out. It's possible, and Astrial was playing good at the start. Every single time that Vancouver found a kill, Astrial was more often than not there to trade it out, but he slowed down towards the back half, and so has the rest of this G2 team. Not a lot of potential to win some of these rounds for sure. So whether or not it's going to be a single player taking this over or the whole team, I think you look towards this whole team to make those improvements rather than putting the pressure on just one person.
Yeah, something needs to change right now for G2 Esports, not just, I think, in this game, but in this series as well. It's worth saying, if you guys didn't get a chance to watch the Karachi hardpoint, that was a map in which they started in control, right? I mean, they were fully in control, they were firing on all cylinders, the ARs came out shooting, and then towards the back half of that Karachi hardpoint, things just slowed down totally for the G2 Esports side. Vancouver Surge took control. I think they've just been kind of all smiles since then. They probably know, to be honest with you, that map number 1 is not something that they should have won. They should not be 1-0 up in this series, 1 round away from being 2-0 up in this series right now. But it's a big confidence booster, I think, for the Vancouver Surge, right? We talk about a roster that towards the back half of the CDL season had been making those kind of constant improvements. The only reason they got DFR'd and champs was because of the fact that they lost 2 Game 5s consecutively. You know, I think for a roster that, you know, had to kind of make a couple of changes to get to the position they're in today, to be able to kind of win Search and Destroy of East. I say win, obviously there's an asterisk in there because they haven't technically won the Search and Destroy yet, but to win Search and Destroy of East, to make the comeback in hardpoint that they did, it is a huge confidence booster to this roster, kind of, I guess, an indicator as to where they're actually at.
No, you're right. It's a great feeling, and one of those Game 5 losses was to a team that's in their group right now, Cloud9. They lost to them at Champs in a Game 5 fashion, and I'm sure that this Vancouver team, they knew they were going to be in this group. They've been working on their Search and Destroy, looking for that payback, and with that work done against G2, they get to try it out and test out some of these strategies, maybe some of the play styles, and they look fantastic. And this is a team that, you know, had a chance to take down Cloud9 back at Champs, can potentially take them down here in the group stage. And if they're playing like this, you want to put some weight onto their side of the map. So we're heading into what could be maybe the last round of this search and destroy. Vancouver up 5-1 on Highrise. We get a trade early, 3-on-3.
Yep, you immediately read where Linz is going towards the A site. Map coverage as well. Estriel should be dead to rights here, and that's exactly what's happens now. The last couple of players are isolated. DC finds 04 with a climb up towards the ladder. So now DC is just looking to pull off what would be a protective 1 versus 3. He might have just found the timing on towards these players as well. They're not looking in that direction, but Abuser survives. That's the worst thing that could possibly have happened. The shot's not good on towards Hugh either. And just as quickly as we get back into this search and destroy, it is over. Vancouver Surge find their final round to take a 2-0 lead.
It's a 3K from Hook in that round as well. Just full takeover. Estriel deer in the headlights over towards the A site. As soon as he gets there with the bomb, he stops out in the open and is a free kill for the player top Propane. Diamond Con was able to at least get that trade, but at the time it happened, it was too little too late. And Vancouver now up 2-0 over G2 Esports after a monumental comeback in the hard points and a very commanding search and destroy on Highrise. Control on the horizon for this team and is full wins in their sails, Brody. This is a new look Vancouver, it seems, with the change of city, their city franchise. And heading in towards EWC, they look electric.
Yeah, I mean, this Vancouver Surge roster in Search and Destroy right now, they just look so confident with everything they're doing. And again, it's worth saying, right, that G2 are throwing looks at them, and I just think majority of it is just so one-note. You know, already off the start of that final round, right? I mean, it's so clear that they know Linz is just going to run at them, right? And they're just sitting there with their irons up, that they know that they can get an easy kill on towards Linz as long as they're able to track exactly where on the map he's trying to hit. And as soon as they get that first blood, I think things just kind of fall apart. Even though there is a trade there from G2 Esports, there's just no way back into that final round and no way back into that search and destroy against the Vancouver Surge roster that are looking confident at this point in time. And why wouldn't you be? A comeback on Karachi Hardpoint, a dominant showing on Highrise Search and Destroy. Gives them the 2-0 advantage. One more map, and we've got our second 3-0 of the day here on the B stream. I have no idea what's going on, Colin. Maybe you and I had a curse for 3-0s or something. I don't know. Either way, we'll see where the Vancouver Surge get it after this break. I feel like we're doing well, Colin.
You ever wondered how a Hollywood movie is shot? On a Sony. You review it on a Sony. And how do you make that sound epic? You record it on a Sony. Lunch break on a Sony. So why wouldn't you watch it on a Bravia by Sony?
Alrighty, folks, we're back here with the Esports World Cup. Currently 2-0 to the Vancouver Surge over G2 Esports. And for G2, I mean, something's got to kickstart their systems right now, because after that search and destroy, I don't know, I'm taking the longest bathroom break in the world, dude. That was a blowout.
Look, Brody. New city, same motto. Drown them out. Easy and simple. 2-0 up for Vancouver. And, I mean, the hard point was something special to be seen out of this team. And I think it's really refreshing to see the composure that this Vancouver team does have. Because all things considered, when you look at their season towards Major Four and towards champs, I mean, they were giving some of those top teams a run for their money. This is a team in Vancouver that you just do not want to underestimate whatsoever, because they have the talent. And they have that teamwork, and obviously you can see in their camp that they like to play together. I mean, the teamwork is on point with them. It's just kind of trying to play up to their level sometimes when it comes down to that individual talent that, you know, somebody like 04 is going to bring, or maybe that Abuse is just going to pop off with his potential Rookie of the Year season that he had. But it's just something that I think G2 we're not really accounting for, and a lot of paired in towards that search and destroy, throw the same strat towards them over and over again, and then in the hard point, maybe let off the gas a little bit. You woke a monster up. And now into the control, you have to start your reverse sweep on a Karachi Control, where G2, they were 1-0 in Major 4, but that is not a lot of representation for how good you're going to be heading in towards the EWC with the changes that they made.
Yeah, I think ultimately more the point, though, I guess the positive here as we get in towards this game is the fact that for Vancouver Surge, Karachi Control has never really been a light in the darkness, as it were. I think just Control in general has not been that good for them. It's been very 50-50. So there's a chance for G2 in this Control, a chance that they already seem to be taking advantage of, a wave of gunfights that goes in their favor. And as they basically get a full wipe here, they've got an opportunity to fly across the map. Options as to how to play this round. AR's firing on all cylinders here. Vancouver Surge pushed all the way towards that back alley. If you're those last two players, if you're Abuser and Drezzy here, you are trying to play alive. You win your 1v1s. Even more than that, Brezzy's able to double up, and what was a great position for G2, not so good anymore.
It's all kinetic from the side of Vancouver. They absorb that energy and throw it right back at G2. Incredible from Brezzy and Abuser, the longtime duo from the Awobabobs. Some challenger champions right there. That is incredible from the two of them. Now for G2, it's back to square one on this offense. You're just looking for some map control, hoping to get on towards A. Stop this clock. That's only at 33 seconds. Lives are about even. You just need to find some success when it comes down to the objective.
Well, that's what you'd like to have. First tick now through over by A. Flanking players, though, from the Vancouver Surge. Accuracy is going to deal the ones from Fire Alley. You're not expecting Cute, but it doesn't matter because DC's ready for the kill. There is going to be a late hit from Brezzy here. Might actually be able to stop Accuracy, and he will. So what would have been a nice transition for G2 from A to B, they're going to actually have to go back to the former of those two control points. DC falls by beat. And for G2, a masterful play has fallen apart. 20 seconds on the clock. Lins will find Hugh. They have to now go back to finish off this A control zone. And you still haven't dealt with player number 6. 0-4 is still hanging about here.
Yeah, and
Where's Brezzy?
if Brezzy kind of played that delay hit 4 in a row, Zone's finally going to get captured, but he's looking for kill number 5. Estrel and Accuracy are going to turn around, but really Brezzy's just trying to distract them at this moment, see if he can burn a little bit more of this time and keep this streak alive, but Accuracy finally going to kill him. Minute 2 to hit over towards A. 0-4 is going to be sidelined actually by Estriel, and that's going to be Abusa and Hook now to fend this one off. They're going to find 2 kills and hopefully slow things down, but as they fall, now's the chance for G2 to hop on this objective.
Yeah, kills being made by G2 here. Accuracy watching the cross will get shut down. Estriel already down to 18 HP is trying to play his life. Will get the full regen off. Now going to sat in that cheese spot outside. Has to go for the challenge against Abuser. Should be shut down here, and he will. Still though, kills to be had here. If you're Vancouver Surge, haven't quite dealt with the threat just yet. There goes Lins. DC stunned up, not ready for the fight against Huke. All things will reset here with 40 seconds on the clock.
Hook with the slide underneath the barrel right there. 11 playing 10. 0-4 is going to get in and around, so he's going to take Accuracy away from top red. It's Estriel who has to make this play. 26 seconds, hoping to wait for the respawns. Who's going to check it? Oh, Estriel gets burned in the spawns. And 9 playing 9, 17 seconds.
15.
G2, they got to go.
Yep, you got to go now. Accuracy falls. It doesn't matter if you don't have the numbers in the situation. Somebody needs to make the hero play. Diamond Con. Channel is in as Batman for up high. Looking for the kills. Not going to find it. Now just down at Accuracy. You've got no time. You're going to be shut out of this round. Good effort from G2 Esports, but Vancouver Surge holds steadfast over by B.
And with the capture over towards A, at least they have those 3 segments, but it is not an easy objective to break if you don't get in and behind and spawn trap them over that half wall. So G2, they can never truly accomplish that setup, always scrapping for that objective in B. And a couple big play calls from Vancouver, especially with that one where Brezzy late hits the A zone to take Accuracy off. It slows down the transition over towards A, and it allows the rest of Vancouver to kind of pinch them at that point. Another moment where Vancouver pops off with an individual moment.
Oh, nice set nades off the start of this round, though, from G2, who going to get shut out almost immediately here. So this will split things up a little bit for the Vancouver Surge. They kind of had their heart's desire over towards B, but everything's kind of going all right off the start of this round. It is a flawless start from G2. You haven't got players in the power positions here, so Vancouver Surge will get close spawns towards that B side. 0-4 going to kick things off with a couple of kills as well on this transition back towards B. There's an opportunity here for the Vancouver Surge.
Oh, and that's all 3 players over towards B dying, so Brezzy's going to be able to jump on this objective. Over the half wall is Lin, so hoping to fight for the contest, but Abusa's going to sniff him out. It's Accuracy now, taking down Brezzy and Abusa to hopefully delay this from Vancouver. 0-4 gonna have to finesse a little bit with this SMG in hand. He's on 3 in a row, gonna make it 4, but Estriel trades out. They recover the B zone, and Vancouver taking their sights over towards A.
Yeah, why not? You, at the very least, off the back of that hit, have created some space for you to make this A hit work, but have you got all of your angles being watched? Brezzy, keeping an eye on this street. We'll keep G2 Esports away. Lins is going to try and find a way, and he's going to get shut down. Accuracy on the pinch will also be falling out of the play. DC the only one for G2 to find any value whatsoever. And this is a full wipe for the Vancouver Surge here. You're not going to finish things over by A. You're going to attempt to get some map control by B.
That's a major kill from Lins, and he gets 2. Lins with maybe a round-changing engagement right there, taking down both players heading over towards that B zone. Gets there just in time, even if you lose A. You're just setting yourself up there if you're Lins on holding this B zone like Vancouver just did to you the round before. You have a couple players trying to work the flank for Vancouver, and I know that that G2 are going to be ready for this one. You have a player watching the half wall and a player sitting inside red of Lins. He's going to get that first one, now looking to stay alive, maybe do some more damage.
Huke's still finding kills here. Oh, I guess some bad timing there, unfortunately, against DC. The one area of red he didn't check is going to be the area that he does get shut down by, but Surge still have players over here. Or rather, player. Just 0-4. Looking to be a nuisance. Estriel on the hunt. He's going to get tagged up in the back. Perhaps the help here can take 0-4 out of the play. 0-4 almost steals that kill away against Lins. Maybe Abusa can pick up the trades. Not to be a full wipe here from G2 Esports. It's looking pretty good. Now you got full map control.
It's full map control, and look how far away Vancouver are spawning. Accuracy with the nade and a couple of shots there on the Hook. The car bomb with the Semtex going to take down 2 off the spawn. Vancouver down to 9 lives left. with 53 seconds. They're going to have to play this one slow just to make it over towards B. Lots of corners to check, lots of gunfights to take, but it's the explosives that are keeping them away.
Yeah, this is full map control now for G2. You've let a couple of players through. Keep an eye on Brezzy, who's now behind enemy lines. I don't think they'll know about him. The kill cam might give his positioning away. Abuser does get shut down. So Surge have players in the position. This might force Diamond Con to draw back unless the kills can be won, but unfortunately it is going to be the subs here for G2 that get it done. Linz will close out that kill against Hugh, and now I think with 15 seconds left, I think the light in this round is starting to fade. Abuser and 04 will combine for 3. Estrel pushing up though to just try and create some resistance. That final Semtex will get it done. G2 with map control off the back of the pressure they put forward on towards B, they will win that round.
The round starts with a nade kill and ends with a nade kill. I mean, G2, they've obviously been brushing up with their set nades. And that's a great recovery from G2 Esports. That got a little bit dangerous with the 4 down that you saw through the middle of the map. Hook almost gets over towards that half wall at one point, but Linz taking Hook down and finding the second one as well from Vancouver, really slowing things down for them, regaining that map control, and they never gave it back either. Vancouver responding so far away from that B zone that it just took so much time to make it happen, and everybody on G2 really stepping up that round to get that win back. 1-1 tied. Estriel looking for top 3rd position. Lynn's going to be inside the control zone and now looking for some progression off of it.
Yeah, not going to catch Brezzy in behind enemy lines, though, once again, making that exact same route he was back in round number 1. DC has to turn to him. 04 off the back of that will be able to take DC down. So G2 now going to want to approach this one from a different angle. How are they going to check the corner, though? No, they're not. Abuser off the back of that will be able to abuse it for the kill against Estriel. Kills in favor of Vancouver Surge here. G2 will have to slow up considerably.
I'm surprised they're still taking some looks over towards B right away here. Working through a red. This is a little bit risky to dropping lives over and over again, but Accuracy is going to hop on towards that A zone. You have Estrel in top red. They're just keeping these players busy at the B zone, making sure that they cannot rotate and put pressure on this control. And even if they do, they die. Now you can take a look at B if you're the side of G2, but again, they get over aggressive. Hook and 04 clean them up, and now Vancouver looking to collapse on A.
Yeah, you're okay with this if you're G2. They've got players on A. It's their backstop in this situation. You're already starting to win the fights as well. 04 Semtex will do naught. Kill against Accuracy. Good, though. Actually not ready for the fight. Fortunately enough, Linz is there to trade things out. And that should be a donezo. So G2 will get the capture through. They get the extra 60 seconds on the board.
Not a good game from Brezzy either. 8 and 14. A lot of critical kills, but really falling behind when it comes down to the slaying for Vancouver. And that's been an avenue in for G2 Esports. You see Accuracy's back into his shooting ways. 17 and 16. Linz now, and Estriel starting to heat up. It's 3 down. Hook, the only one alive to maybe do some damage, but he's so far disconnected.
Yep. You've got a decision to make. Do you wrap back towards this point, or do you try and keep Accuracy away from this point? To be honest with you, might just have to be the former, especially as their teammates are dying. Accuracy for the middle map is finding value. He's keeping the rest of the squad away. Hugh's been found out as well. Second tick through over by B. Abuser might well pick up a double here, but can he get more towards the point? Estriel and DC isolated. The former finds a kill. DC also down for the count. And Vancouver Surge with a goal line save here. Stop that 3rd tick from going through.
And none of it's possible without Abuser finding those 2 kills to relinquish that pressure. Allow something for Hook to do. And he gives them that route. So still a life advantage for G2. You only need 1 segment, and there's still 1 minute 11 seconds. Lots of lives here for G2 Esports. They can get this one done. They just have to keep throwing bodies at it.
Kills from 04 and Brezzy, though. They're getting it done. DC, last one left up. What do you got for us? It's a bit of a shaky fight. It's not good enough. Brezzy going to take it down. And Brezzy finds a second one as well. Close spawn should still be good for G2 here through bottom red, though. Nobody from Surge towards scrap time. There's an opportunity for G2 to push themselves forward. Vancouver want to find these kills in your favor. You've got a slight life advantage. Accuracy trying to play his life will do exactly that. This is dicey from both sides.
This one's getting mixy. Abusers looking for some players off spawn. He's going to find at least Estriel, but the trade in nade. And it's down to a 5v5. 37 seconds. Last chance hurrah for G2 to try to get over towards this B zone for that 1 tick left to steal away the offensive side. And Vancouver going for a full bunker down on B.
Is it locked down? Puke. Eyes tightly on the back alley. Double shout from Estriel and DC. Gonna overwhelm. Good trade from Abuser, though. Now 4 versus 4. Back to the standard S&D setup here. Estriel for the double up though. Abuser with a double right back. Looking for number 3. Hits the reload at the wrong time. Player over the wall. Last one up is Cuke, and he's going to get shut down. G2 win the first offense of this control.
Very patient from G2. As soon as things start going wrong, they group together. They find the kills from the front side. They get into the control, and then they start zoning out these individuals, double challing together, trading each other out, and it is not easy to hold that B zone as soon as you're trapped inside of it. You have so many angles to take there if you're G2 to surround them. So many places where, you know, Diamondcon and accuracy in those power positions have been really well on Karachi, even back in the hard points. And I think it was just Vancouver were sitting ducks at that moment. G2 taking advantage. It goes down to the wire in a 2v1, but that's an offensive round that can continue the series to map 4.
Yep, that's a big round for G2. It might well be the key to continuing this series. Abuser now up top though. Vancouver Surge. We've seen a meltdown previously in this series back in map number 1. That, of course, was on a Karachi from G2 Esports. Vancouver are hoping the same thing happens again. I'm not too sure if like a nuke has just gone off or something. The screen went very, very bright for a second. It's all right, though. Vancouver Surge, they win in the opening gunfights. Duke now looking for somebody supporting kills inside red. He will find one. Information passed off to the teammates that there's going to be pressure coming from that top red side. Vancouver are watching all of these angles like a hawk, and G2, they look so stressed about this one.
It's just Vancouver do such a good job on the offense at locking down these lanes, making sure that G2 cannot work these flanks, cannot take these power positions away from them, and it's so patient out of Vancouver to secure that A zone right away, make sure that nobody can get out and behind you. And with 2 minutes and 7 seconds, it looks like 0-4 wants to make a play in towards their spawn, maybe to cut off some of these early setups. And this might be a little dangerous, but at the same time, G2, they don't have to worry about 0-4 just yet. All these players in G2 can look for the players off spawn.
Yeah, I think the moment they're going to have to worry about 0-4 is if Vancouver Surge wins some of the fights inside red. Unfortunately, Estriel draws that first blood. That's going to force 0-4 into the point, but that's okay. 0-4 wins the first fight against Diamondcon. Now repositioning here for G2. They're constantly worried about the players coming off the back of the spawn. They're worried about players pushing through scrap. That's not where it's coming from. 0-4 towards the point. Also now looking to win some fights. First one versus Lins is good. Elsewhere, Brezzy's starting to provide the support. 0-4 looking to dip and dive away from Estriel. He's going to get shut down. Accuracy also the kills on towards Brezzy and Abuser towards red. G2 Esports, they hold for now.
That's big from Vancouver, 0-4 in particular, to work that first segment at B. But G2 have the life advantage. 17 playing 14, minute 30 left. And they are finding the trades as well. Estriel's going to slide out. Brezzy going to get 2 there. And no opening just yet for Vancouver. Just a surge forward just yet. Still have to worry about some of these individuals like Diamondcon, who's just sticking around and being a nuisance. Back and forth trades now from both sides. But Vancouver, here's the break. They're going to find 3, and now they're in.
Yeah, go time and the kill on towards Lins as well. Why the heck not? A little bit of a cherry on top of the cake there for Vancouver Surge. It's a triple stack coming through. G2, you gotta go if you want to force a round 5. This is not happening. Estriel might well take 0-4 out of the play, but that is done so. And just like that, it goes to show how tentative that point can be at times. 3 kills come through from the Surge, and they immediately make the best of it.
And fortunately enough, Brezzy has been turning up since I gave a little bit of criticism at his slaying throughout this control, but segment should be about even for these teams heading into round 5. So those kills are going to be super influential now to see who's going to get that game or round 5 defense on Karachi. But back-to-back offensive wins from both teams. You know, early on we saw back-to-back defensive wins. Both of these teams can turn up on either side of the playing field. So I wouldn't give an advantage just yet. Just that the only thing, Vancouver's offensive side was a lot more convincing than G2's.
Round 5, here we go. For all the beans. Wait, no, who was in the last series? Vancouver Surge. On the defense, just holding strong for the moment. Hugh in a position towards the street will manage to pick up Lins. Trade's looking pretty good if you're Vancouver Surge, though. You've removed the one player that was on the point, and you don't need to take the head of accuracy in this position. You just need to keep control of that top red side. It's a constant position that G2 are going to be worried about.
Yeah, look at Brezzy now. He's just going to be ready to pick off some players as they transition. Oh, wow. And Lin's sticking around a little too much around that Semtex. It's going to be a clean 4 down between 0-4 and Brezzy. Now they can push the issue up, start to gain some of this map control, set up in these power positions with the MCWs in hand. Abusa on 4 in a row, looking for number 5, 1 away from the cruise missile. What a streak to have as well to put this away in a 3-0 sweep potentially.
I don't know what's happened, Colin, but it feels like G2 Esports starting to fall out of this control and out of this series. It's an 8-light differential between these two teams now, and it looks to grow even more. Abuser's streak is done. Brezzy now on 6 in a row as well. 0-4 will be cut short off the streak, but you've got 2 cruise missiles ready to go. Yeah, why on earth not? You've got to bring that first one down. You've got a second as another insurance policy. This control might be done.
Abusa and 0-4 have 36 or 66 kills combined between the two of them across 5 rounds of this control. Absolute takeover mode. And here's the cruise missile number 2 as Vancouver, they flood the streets of Karachi. They drown out G2 and they send them into the lower bracket of the group.
Such promise for G2 Esports at moments in that series, in that 3-0, especially in that final control. We asked a question before we got into it, are the respawns better for G2 Esports now that you've brought DC and Estriel onto the lineup? Yeah, they're better. They're still not good enough to take down a Titan like the Vancouver Surge. They might well have moved locations, but they're just as good as they were before. That search and destroy, I think, is going to be the biggest pill to swallow if you're a G2.
Oh, but that control gets me a little heart pumping here, Brody. That was exciting between both of these teams. Offensive wins, defensive wins, and then just a flip switch for Vancouver heading into that last round of control. Everybody was on takeover